Hey everyone, Arenji here. I'm going to play a few games of Chaos Reborn against the AI. Because, you know, not many people are really into playing against the AI, and I really enjoy that. Don't have to wait for the other players to take their turns, and I don't really care if I lose against the AI, so, you know, my ego isn't pricked when I suddenly make a feeble effort. On the other hand, it is slightly embarrassing to lose to the AI because they're not very good. So I normally win maybe 9 games out of 10. So I started up some games here, and I'm gonna take advantage of everything the AI does wrong, and so, you know, it might mean I cast some crazy illusions and at ridiculous times when it's really obvious it's an illusion. So, you know, you can, when you're on the back foot, they've got all their creatures out, yours all fails. You throw out a illusionary dragon and it's completely obvious, but they don't think to disbelieve it, at least not for a while. It's particularly true in 2-player. They seem to be much worse at bothering to disbelieve in 2-player. Maybe they feel more threatened, I don't know how they decide what to do, but in 4 players I find that they disbelieve each other's creatures much more rapidly, maybe because there's 3 wizards to do the disbelieving rather than just one. So here we are, I've got a Staff of Law, which means I've got slightly more law spells than I have chaos, but not actually a huge difference in this occasion. I'm not really a fan of these triple magic attacks anymore. They used to be overpowered, they're now too weak, of course. Yeah, the opposite direction. Hard to cast, and they don't really have a great chance of being successful. So I usually burn that if I haven't got a spell that supports it, which in this case I don't. I have 3 weapons with my Staff of Law. It's almost as good as a Staff of Weapons in that regard. Much better, of course, because you get the advantage of being able to boost elves as well, which is very satisfying. So what I'm going to do here, I think, is a rat pack is good early pressure. If I've noticed that the AI, if I move forward 1 space, cast rats there, he usually moves forward 2, so we immediately find ourselves very much pressuring one another. But whatever he casts as a creature, he normally moves forward 2, casts a creature there. My rats can then move up 3 on either side and get an attack before he can do anything. So if it turns out to be an elf or something, what staff has he got? He's got a Staff of Neutrality. So it might not be an elf. It would probably be an elf if it was boosted to 92, just because. There we go. End turn. If he had a Staff of Law, it's probably going to be an elf. Let's see what he does. It's a dwarf. Well, that's much harder to kill than an elf. 14%. Should I just kind of like go around the sides maybe? Should I even bother to attack that? I'm not sure I really want to. Let's send 1 each side, so he has to kind of decide which one to go for. And if I go forward 1, let's put loads of trees. That's what I'm going to do. Maybe I need to burn something to get loads of trees. Well, I don't want to burn any of those. Maybe I'll burn the dwarf. I definitely burn a goblin. Sapphire dragon. Oh, that'd be useful. I have a Staff of Law. I can boost that a lot. But let's try the shadow wood. This is going to make it more chaotic, which is not really ideal. Boost to 82. Come on, work! Work! Yes! Okay, end turn. Hydra, not great with a Staff of Law. Mind you, an illusionary one might be quite good. Although you do get a huge amount of mana if you cast it and it fails on the Hydra. It's about 10 mana for failing that. Okay. Swing foolishly at the dwarf. What am I going to do with these rats? The dwarfs are kind of ineffectual. Send him over there. They do like attacking the trees. What can I do here? Let's get on a mount. I can boost it a huge amount, so almost guarantee the mount, which is very handy. I've noticed that when you get onto mounts, they stop attacking you directly. I mean, when you're a vulnerable wizard, they tend to focus on you rather than creatures if they can. Whereas once you're on a mount, they only see the mount rather than you, and they stop kind of focusing you. At least that's the way it seems. That's a huge waste of a blob. That was, you know, another typical AI thing. Oh, there's a creature there, I can attack it with something. I'll use one of my blobs. Very foolish. Especially since he's left himself up to a free attack from my rat. Never underestimate the power of the rat. Victory 1. You see, very, very poor AI movement by the wizard. Just put himself under... Obviously didn't fear the rat. I think that's the problem. If there was a creature that he was actually afraid of, he'd probably have moved away from it. Like if it was a ranged creature or a manticore, they tend to move it away from the threat. But when it's a rat, they don't seem to care, which means that they get free 20% attacks on them. So, you know, that wasn't a great start for the AI. It has to be said. Right, let's start another one. Another 2-player. I could try going second, of course, by just skipping my first turn. It's a way to force the AI to take first. I mean, let's do that. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to not do anything. Let him have the first turn. Sapphire Dragon on first turn. Right. Okay, I'm not going to... Means that normally on this map, you know, I'd go one way and he'd go the other way, and we'd dance around the outside of this chasm. He's gone first this way. That means I can choose to go the same way if I want, and I have a Staff of Chaos this time, which means that I can boost Shadow Woods and blobs and skeletons. And I'm going to throw away my dwarf so that I've got a little bit more mana to play with. If I run over here, I can put 2 Shadow Woods right behind that mana sprite. Which, you know, makes me feel a bit safer. I do have 2 of them as well. Let's try that. 1, 2. Got to make sure I don't block my own route if I want to go up there. 3, 4, 5. I'm not that bothered if it fails. It did not fail. I have trees. I have a manticore. Manticore for me is the one spell I always really, really want to have in my deck, whether I'm chaotic or lawful. I always want to have a manticore because they're just so powerful with their attack of 4 and their defense of 4 and their amazing movement of 4 and the fact that I can ride on them. It's just an all-round, and of course ranged attack. I forgot about that. It's just an all-round brilliant creature. And it's the creature I most fear when the opponent casts it, and I almost always want to disbelieve it immediately just in case I'm about to be killed by an illusionary manticore, which would be very, very frustrating. So if I move up there and cast another wood, I can cast it... No, it's a bit of a waste, just for 1 wood. I could run up there and blob him. He could blob me back. If I go there and blob there, he can still blob me back. He probably doesn't have a blob because he's got a Staff of Law, which means that that staff is not really focused on blobs. It would be better if I was riding on a mount first, or I had a Hydra or something that could rescue me from a blob, or else he takes that mana sprite and then I blob him. Let's throw an illusionary Hydra in there, and I'm just gonna step back slightly. Now let's see how he responds to this. He's not going to take the mana sprite because that does protect him from my Hydra. Right, now this is quite strong now. If I move my Hydra back here, he's in position to respond to a blob. I move in there, and I need to make this pretty much 100% chance of working. So I'm going to blob there, and it needs to be 100% because if it goes wrong, I'm in desperate straits. Oh, can actually magic bolt me? Can he magic bolt through mana sprites? I actually don't know. I think they block line of sight, don't they? He's just taken my manticore. You git. I do not have anything that can shoot through there. Let's see, what can I do? I think my work here is done, so I'm just going to head off now to the other sprite. And let's leave I'm going to leave a skeleton kind of waiting for him to... I'm not going to leave a skeleton because of course skeleton doesn't work when you really need one. What's he going to do? Who's he going to hit? Hydra. Oh, well, it was an illusion, so I don't feel too bad. He's now free and I've got nothing. What can I do here? I could go for a real Hydra. I could try and take some... Let's see if I can just take some of his spells. I don't know why I boosted that. Absolutely no need to boost it. It failed anyway. I'm heading in this direction. He's going to take the mana sprite now, probably. Tried a magic shield. Well, I'll keep running over here. If he does take the mana sprite, of course, I do get a free attack with the tree, so maybe he's thinking twice. If computers can be said to think twice. Well, goblins sometimes useful with their mighty attack of 3. It's almost as good as a manticore. Can't argue, as long as you get the first attack. Lore shift, how useful is that? Not at all. No usefulness to a lore shift. Oh, he's got a sword, so much for my tree. Okay, you see, this useless AI is now actually doing pretty well. I have blobbed his unicorn. Right, let's get around here. I want some more mana. I don't really want a goblin horde, but you know, it's better than a poke in the eye. I do not really want a lore shift, so I'm going to burn that. No, maybe I did want a lore shift, since all my remaining spells are lawful. Shall we try another shadow word? Let's do another shadow word, you know, might be useful. Who knows when the creatures will be coming this direction. I'm not boosting it because I want my mana. Another shadow word. How fantastic. I didn't really want another shadow word. His second sword failed, that's good news. Okay, where can I put more trees? I think over here. I'm going to head in this direction. So I can put more trees. And I think I'm going to see if I can get a real Hydra out at 72%. Well, that's my one best chance now. See if this... why is he not attacking the blob? And he's blobbed my tree. I don't think the wizards can do that in... Someone said you can't blob trees in the multiplayer version. Well, AI wizards certainly can blob trees. And I can certainly farm them for mana. So, you know, he's not very good. AI just doesn't really know how to handle trees and vines and things. They think they're threatening creatures and they blob them and hit them with magic bolts and try and subvert them and all kinds of crazy nonsense. Which is a big waste of spells. Meanwhile, I am heading in this direction. I have a 98% shadow word, which I shall use momentarily when I get round the corner. And I'm not going to cast it yet, and I'm not going to cast anything else. I could disbelieve that, which I will do next turn. So, disbelieve that just in case. No, it's real. Unicorn is real. Come round the corner. Next turn, I'll move and put some shadow woods up. No, I failed to farm the blob. Oh, I've got another chance to farm it this time. Yes, attack my tree. Futile. Spend all day doing this. My trees are going to win against your blob, I assure you. So, let's put you there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So, if he's got a magic bolt, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I don't really want to get closer than that. And let's put some tree. 98%. Has worked. I think the highest percentage chance failure I've seen is 96% in my games, but you know, if I boosted everything to 99%, I would eventually find one that failed at 99%, but I don't, so I don't. The skeleton, that's not good. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Be an illusion. No, no. The AI has got onto the horse, but I don't think they have any concept of being mounted, so they kind of get on because they just want to move there, and then they get off again because they don't want to move there. So they don't actually... I don't think I've ever seen an AI move with a mount. They get on just so that they can attack something that's nearby. I don't quite know what to do here. If I move in here, I'm just going to get attacked by that skeleton. I have nothing to defeat the skeleton with. I have no weapons of... Ah, I do have a magic bow. That needs to work. And my maximum boost is 12%. I'm never going to get it back to law ever again. So I may as well try that next turn. I do not know how else I'm going to defeat this wizard. We have exactly the same victory points. So, well, if you sit there next to my... Oh, he rode on the horse, rode on the unicorn, and he didn't know that he can attack with his sword as well. So he rode on the unicorn, could have attacked my tree with the sword, but just didn't. So, right, I need to get my bow working. I can only cast it 12%. It did work. I have a chance. I can kill the skeleton. We have the technology. I have no defences of any kind. Yep. Bored with that tree? You're going to attack the other tree. Fine, fine, kill that tree. That's fine. Now what have you come up with? Another goblin. Well, that's undoubtedly 100% chance to work, so therefore I'm going to disbelieve it. Because sometimes they do cast illusions when it's 100% for no good reason. Goblin, come on, chase the flipping thing around the map. What can I do? I can get on a mount, maybe. I have some mana still to boost. Let's try, I think we'll try the mount next time. They're picking off my trees, gaining mana, but I don't think they're very good at using mana. They don't use... I've never seen an AI wizard use a mega spell yet. That is a giant. Once again, I'm going to have to try and disbelieve that. And it is real, so that's going to be a very big problem. Giant down. Good news. I have unfortunately already cast my spell for the turn. So I'm just going to, you know, sit back a little bit. I can attack the goblin over here. End turn. Another tree goes down. Maybe one of my trees will actually get an attack at some point. These goblins are super powerful against trees. 33%. Ouch. Ouch. Now, why would you go for the tree when you could have gone for me and taken my spells? Just like getting trees, I don't know. Come on. There's no need to be so close to my creatures here, but, you know, it doesn't actually seem to be bothering him. Which is more important to me, a horse or the elf? I think the elf right now. We could do an illusionary one. That's a bit cheesy, especially at this stage in the game. No, leave my nice trees. Oh, I've got an attack on his goblin. That's nice. Disbelieved? You disbelieved my Hydra? Okay, I'm going to climb up here and try and take you out. Yes. No more horse for you. Mind you, you now have a big sword, which you could have been using all this time but haven't been. And now I'm going to kill you with the goblin. No, I'm not going to kill you with the goblin. I'm going to kill you with the elf. Elf for the win. No, 33%. Okay, now I do need a horse to sit on. Please, a horse. my wizard kingdom for a horse. There we go, on the horse. Oh, these flipping goblins, why won't you die? One more tree dies. No. That tree is strong. Don't get off my elf. Okay, I can only attack with one thing now, so I'm going to attack with the Hydra. Finally we have defeated this wizard. That was a hard run through. As again I say, it's not as easy as it looks playing against the AI. They are not totally straightforward, even when you can cheese them, make use of illusions. They don't attack all the times they can attack. They cast blobs in weird places. But even so, they still put up quite a strong fight when your spells fail and theirs work. So, you know, you can be tactically quite good, or even tactically average, and struggle a lot against the AI. I think they're quite good at using their illusions themselves. So, you know, you never know whether they're going to use an illusion or not. They use them at crazy points. And I think that's probably the best way to use illusions, is just to be completely random in your use of them. I think that's enough for this recording. I'll put a break in here and I'll start a couple more games. See you in a minute.